Have you ever stopped to think that an accident can be the watershed between success that fills your pockets and success that fills your soul? Today, we will learn the story of a man who discovered that entrepreneurial work with purpose is about transforming lives, including your own. Listen now to the message that Titus brings us.
Entrepreneurship is more than financial results. It is about connecting with the deep purpose of transforming lives. Pray sincerely, as if you were talking to a friend, and allow your actions in the business world to also be driven by this energy. Do not limit yourself to fulfilling obligations, but make every decision with your heart. Your journey to success can be the key to a real and transformative impact. And now, Apollo will bring us a story that illustrates how faith and courage can redirect a destiny. Stay with us.
In a quiet inland town, where cobblestone streets intertwine with the fresh scent of earth and nature merges with simple, welcoming constructions, lived Daniel, an entrepreneur who owned a sawmill that had prospered in the region for years. The lumber, crafted with excellence, was recognized for its quality in breaking down tree logs, resulting in excellent planks, battens, and beams for civil construction. Materials always well received by the purchasing companies. But deep down, Daniel felt an unrest that silently accompanied him. He felt that something was missing, that the purpose of his life and his work was not fully realized. With every new contract closed, with every new order, the momentary satisfaction quickly vanished, as if the fulfillment was always ahead, out of reach. Daniel, although respected for his competence in his area and admired by the community, always postponed a project he had dreamed of undertaking, helping people in situations of social risk. His desire to invest in social projects was great, but his schedule was constantly taken up by the demands of the sawmill. Deadlines, contracts, meetings, wood-cutting. Everything always seemed more urgent. And so, day after day, he put off the plans to help those who needed it most. He believed he didn't have enough time yet, or perhaps the correct strategy. And thus he kept pushing this dream to the back of his mind, unaware of the impact it would have on his life. Until, one working morning, while supervising the sawmill yard, an accident occurred. A set of logs unexpectedly fell, hitting Daniel hard. He was quickly rescued and taken to the hospital, gravely injured. The following hours were a whirlwind of pain, uncertainties, and despair. Amidst the chaos, Daniel began to reflect on his life, on everything he had achieved and, at the same time, lost. He was on the brink of death, and this brought him a major question: for whom and for what am I building all this? During the days he remained hospitalized, amidst the silences of the hospital, where the sound of monitors and the hustle of nurses were his only companions, Daniel found himself alone with himself. The fear of death, physical exhaustion, and long hours of inactivity made him rethink his path. How could he continue to live only for himself? How could he continue building something that didn't bring profound meaning? It was in these moments of total fragility that an idea began to germinate in his mind. And perhaps there, in an instant of quietness, Daniel felt the divine presence, like a gentle breeze, suggesting that he was not alone on this path. It was time for something new, something greater than his sawmill. In time, Daniel recovered, although he still carried the physical scars of the accident. He was no longer the same man who had entered that hospital. Something had changed within him, and now he felt that his life needed to have a purpose beyond profit, beyond transactions and contracts. He began to invest, with more attention and care, in social projects that he had always postponed. He founded a space that offered educational recreation workshops for at-risk children. The focus was on talent development, awakening skills, and building a more promising future for those families on the margins. The beginning was difficult, like any journey. The families, many of them skeptical, did not initially understand Daniel's interest in the project. Some questioned whether he truly cared about them or was just trying to increase his visibility. But over time, the children began to shine. The workshops became a place of hope. Teenagers, previously lost in the routine of difficulties, began to discover their talents: music, arts, writing. Violas and brushes became the tools of transformation. The families, previously disheartened, began to see in the smile of their children the chance for a new beginning. Daniel looked at these scenes and felt a feeling he couldn't define. It was a sense of fulfillment, that he was finally living fully. He realized that the profit society needs most is not measured in money, but in transformed lives. The hands that were once accustomed to holding heavy work tools now reached out to lift others, to share what he had learned. The true value of life is found not just in material achievements, but in the marks we leave on others, in the legacy we create. In his own journey, he learned that, often, we need to be broken to truly stand up. The accident was not just a moment of physical pain, but a watershed, a turning point in his life. He knew then that it is in the silence of adversity that answers emerge, and that the acceptance of elevated thoughts, those that challenge us to look beyond our own interests, is what allows us to grow. Daniel now no longer ran his company with the same look of haste and desperation. He became more patient, more attentive, more humble. He not only became a successful businessman, but also a man who learned to be a true leader, willing to invest in something that did not bring immediate financial return, but that certainly had the power to transform lives forever. Today, Daniel's workshops continue to thrive, and the impact of his actions reverberates in the community in ways he never imagined. Every smile of a child, every discovered skill, every family that finds hope again is the greatest reward he could receive. He knows now that when we dedicate ourselves to something that goes beyond our ego, when we invest in other lives, divine help becomes visible in ways we could never anticipate. He noticed that even though he dedicated less time to the sawmill, it also continued to prosper, always with better contracts. Daniel learned the most important lesson: the purpose of life is not in what we manage to conquer, but in what we are capable of giving, in the ability to spread light where there was once darkness. And thus, his life became a testimony that, even in silence and pain, it is possible to find true redemption. Titus, next, brings us beautiful passages to reinforce the quality of Daniel's good decisions. Listen.
The story that Apollo told us clearly marks the good direction that Daniel intuitively took in his life journey. We can immediately find 3 passages in the Bible that show his good decisions. In passage 1, Matthew chapter 6 verse 33 we have, "But seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added to you." Jesus teaches us that, when we prioritize eternal values, the rest adjusts. Daniel, by focusing on the purpose of serving, saw his life and business flourish in unexpected ways. Justice here is not just a concept, but a practice, acting with integrity, even when no one is looking. All this content is reinforced by passage 2. In Proverbs chapter 16 verse 3 we learn, "Commit your works to the Lord, and your thoughts will be established." By listening, we will know that trust is not passivity, but active surrender. Daniel handed over his fears and ambitions to the divine, and the result was a transformation he never imagined. Faith does not remove responsibility, faith gives direction. These changes in Daniel's life occurred and are confirmed in passage 3, James chapter 2 verse 17, "Thus also faith by itself, if it does not have works, is dead." We perceive that Daniel's faith became alive when he acted. He not only prayed, but opened doors for people to achieve development, to grow as human beings. True faith is proven in practice, and purpose-driven entrepreneurship is one of the most powerful ways to live it. Next, Apollo will invite us to reflect, how can we apply these truths in our own journeys?
Daniel's story shows us that true success is not a fixed destination, but rather a sequence of continuous choices. He could have returned to his routine, to that fast-paced life, marked by numbers, contracts, and deadlines. But instead, he chose to listen to the call of his heart, that silent whisper that invited him to something greater. Deep down, he knew that the true quality of success was not in what he had, but in the impact he could cause on the lives of others. Purpose-driven entrepreneurship is not summarized by the pursuit of revenue or immediate recognition. It is about being authentic, about living according to the values we carry in our hearts. When our actions are aligned with what we truly believe and what matters to us, the return does not only come in the form of money or external recognition. It comes in the form of a lasting legacy, something that goes far beyond temporary achievements and translates into changes in our community, changes for the better around us. As Daniel discovered, the fruits of a work done with the heart are much more valuable and sustainable than any sales number or financial profit. If this video has touched your heart, help us carry this message forward. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our weekly reflections. Your support allows us to continue sharing stories that inspire and transform. And don't forget, in the description, you will find a sociological focus on today's topic. Furthermore, every choice we make, no matter how small it seems, shapes the path we walk. Sometimes, life offers us the opportunity to step aside and change our direction. And it is at that moment that we are challenged to choose, to do something different, to take a risk in the name of something greater. Purpose is not just a beautiful word. It is the force that moves us to strive so that our actions generate positive impacts. Daniel, by redirecting his efforts also to social causes, found not only personal success but a profound satisfaction that transcended conventional metrics. He proved that when we connect with something greater than ourselves, when we act with integrity and responsibility, the impact of our actions resonates in ways we never imagined. If this story sparked something in you, there is another video on the screen now that will deepen your reflection on purpose and faith. We thank you for being part of Think Strong. Together, we continue to build paths of growth and consciousness. See you soon.